An unassuming Southern family, a home-wrecking poltergeist, and a mystery only made scarier by the fact that it took place way back in the 1870s. Get ready for a spine-tingling story that makes you question if old-timey ghosts of the past were far scarier and more sinister than those we face today. Because you know what they say about old-timey paranormal stories. They had more spirit. Let's just get into it. We find ourselves back in 1872 Georgia, where the Surrency family, led by respected businessman and local leader Alan Surrency, lived a peaceful life with his wife Susan and their teenage daughter Clementine. Their tranquility, however, was shattered on an ominous June morning in 1872. As Susan was sewing in the parlor, as they did back then, she noticed a pitcher on a nearby table suddenly and violently start rocking back and forth. The water inside sloshed and splashed, and then, as if defying the laws of gravity, the pitcher levitated into the air, hanging suspended for a heart-stopping moment. Then, just as quickly, it crashed down, shattering and drenching the room in a torrent of water. This inexplicable event marked the beginning of a series of terrifying encounters that would change the Surrency family's lives forever. Over the following months, the once peaceful Surrency home transformed into a hotbed of paranormal activity. Heavy wooden doors slammed shut without warning, rattling their frames, while windows shook and shattered underneath the force of an unseen power, sending shards of glass flying across the room. Ordinary household items seemed to be possessed, as if controlled by an invisible force, soaring through the air and crashing to the floor with unnerving precision. It got so far that every time they sat down to eat as a family, their meals were violently thrown into their laps. Neighbors who initially dismissed the tales as exaggerations soon experienced objects in their own homes flying through the air and furniture moving across their floor, seemingly propelled by a supernatural force. Was it the same entity that was tormenting the Surrency family? Is this somehow the Surrency family's fault? Or were the neighbors' fears and imaginations feeding into the phenomena? Desperate for relief, the Surrency family sought shelter with their neighbors and friends, the Pattersons. Even back in the day, having the Pattersons as your neighbors just sound like they're a bunch of good old wholesome people who'll help you out in a pickle. Unfortunately, within days, the sinister forces followed them, manifesting inside the Pattersons' home through even more unexplained object movements and strange noises. Susan Surrency, realizing the danger she had brought upon her friends, decided to return home, successfully luring the supernatural activity and bad vibes away from the probably very wholesome Pattersons household. But what compelled the forces to follow the Surrency family, and why were they so attached to them? As the family tried to escape their haunted life by moving to different locations, whispers of suspicion arose in August of 1874, about 2 years later, when a similar haunting occurred at a house in nearby Bartow County, Georgia. The affected household had recently employed a former Surrency servant named Mary. Remember, this was the post-Civil War South. Servants were still popular. A quiet and unassuming woman, Mary had worked many years as a housemaid for the Surrency family, carrying out daily chores and maintaining the home. However, the frightened and paranoid townsfolk looking for a scapegoat coerced her through questioning and intimidation into confessing her supposed involvement in the events. Despite her admission, the haunting continued, casting doubt on her role in the chilling events. It's almost like she didn't have anything to do with it. So, was Mary an innocent victim of circumstance, or did she somehow hold the key to this chilling phenomenon? I personally say leave Mary alone. I don't think she had anything to do with it. The strange events wouldn't stop harassing the family for years until 1877, when Mr. Surrency finally passed away. Well, I guess it's finally for the poltergeist, because another incident would never be reported by the Surrencys. Numerous theories, however, were proposed to explain the sudden end of the hauntings, including the possibility that it was just a coincidence, or the family's psychological state may have played a role. Or maybe even the events were actually somehow connected to the servant Mary or Mr. Surrency himself, because after his death, whatever the entity was seemed to be satisfied. These theories remain inconclusive, leaving the haunting still unexplained. The Surrency family's chilling encounters with the unknown continues to captivate and bewilder those who hear the story. Will we ever truly know and understand what caused the paranormal events to begin or to cease? Or will the haunting forever remain an old-timey tall tale?